This is SaaS Therapy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of SaaS Therapy. I'm your host, Todd Kirk, and today I'm going to be doing a quick check-in to review some of the recent conversations that we had with one of my favorite people in the world, Debra Wilson. Debra Wilson is the head of marketing at Brainstorm, but she, in a previous life, ran a professional services program that had to do live training and live support and consulting for customers all over the world. And they were doing hundreds of on-site training days every single month, which means you had dozens of people potentially traveling around the world providing different value and services to customers. That is a hard world to be in. But one of the things that was so powerful about Debra's experience is that I think it relates really well if you are in customer education today or customer success. Because really what we're doing is we're providing a service to help the customer unlock the value of the software that they have. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't deliver the results that the customer expected. Something might go wrong, the product might break, or we have a call where somebody says something insensitive and hurts somebody's feelings. We might have an issue where the customer had a timeline that they needed to receive and we didn't deliver on expectations from a project perspective in the timeline they expected. So what do you do when you've run into a place that's caused a breach of trust? That's why I think the conversation with Debra was so powerful, because it helps us understand what to do when things go wrong. And Debra is probably best at that. So if you are ever in a situation where you feel like you don't know what to do because a customer is unhappy, let me just share with you some thoughts that Debra provided that really resonated with me. The first is understand that you might need to step back for a minute and take a deep breath and think about how the customer is feeling. Too often our first reaction is to try to figure out how are we going to protect our own reputation, the reputation of our company, the reputation of our personal brands. And we may have to be the person who's delivering bad news or receive negative feedback from the customer when something goes wrong. And when that happens, our first reaction is likely to get defensive and to try to figure out how we can shift the blame to someone else. Debra was amazing at the job that she did, because anytime something went wrong with the customer, she was so awesome at active listening and understanding what the customer actually needed in this situation. When something goes wrong, you have to actually consider the impact that it has on your customer. Was it that they didn't have they didn't get a product delivered to their customer at the right time? Was it that an executive felt like their time was wasted? Was it that your point of contact got egg on their face because they had put their reputation on the line? The understanding the actual impact and the negative impact that it had on your customer will make a really big difference in how you respond, because ultimately what you want to do is focus on the things that are in your control that you can impact to make it right for the customer. And, I think sometimes we look at these situations where a customer is unhappy, where something went wrong with a customer. And our first reaction is to try to make it not our fault. But it's actually a really good opportunity for you to convert a situation that was negative into something that's really, really positive. If we're able to make it right, go above and beyond for the customer, and to really understand their pain points so they can get the outcome that they really want, well, we might be able to convert that person into a customer for life. So take it as a good sign when the customer is frustrated that they didn't get the value that they wanted, and they're being honest and open with you about it, because that's an opportunity. If they were to disengage and not talk to you, or even say, maybe I didn't really care that much if something went wrong, well, that's an indicator that they're not really invested and they're not going to go anywhere. So first of all, look at this as an opportunity and focus on staying calm and really listening so you understand what to do in the situation. The other thing to consider is there's so many little things that we can do before something goes wrong to basically fill up our bank account with positive, to put us in the green, essentially. So if something does go wrong, hopefully we don't overdraw, and they understand that that's outside the norm for us. Debra has this concept that we've used here at Brainstorm for a long time called entering the room with a 10, which means anytime you interact with someone, you always want to start at a perfect score. And there's so many little things that you can do. The words that you use, the way that you dress, when somebody comes in, having all of your preparation done long in advance, that's going to make a really big difference in the way that you're perceived in the scenario that your customer now had something negative happen. Because again, you've demonstrated your professionalism, your approachability, and they know that you're a really powerful resource that they can use and work with in the future. Now, anytime you receive feedback from a customer, especially if it's negative feedback, it can really, really wear on you. But Deborah gave a really great piece of advice, and I recommend that you take this with you this week. And she said this might sound a little bit trite. I actually think it doesn't, which is there are lots of times where you are the customer, and you have probably been in a situation where you have felt like you were mistreated or you didn't get the outcome that you wanted from someone that you purchased something from, even just in your personal life as a consumer. So one of the pieces of advice that Deborah gave was to actually examine and to study your own personal reaction when something goes bad in your own life. What are the feelings that you have? What are the situations that arise in your mind? That will put you into a better position to have empathy for the customer when they have something that goes wrong, and you'll be in a better position to help them overcome the emotional anger and frustration that they might feel to get to a positive and better place. And just remember, even if something goes wrong, you are in such a better spot if that customer is willing to have a conversation with you to make it right. So just be grateful that we have so many good ways to be able to support a customer if they're willing to talk to us. Hopefully that gives you some inspiration this week. If you ever have had situations where your customers have been feeling a little bit frustrated or something went wrong and you weren't able to handle it well, it's a great opportunity to get better. And if you want to share your experiences with me, I'd love to hear them. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Come check out future episodes of SaaS Therapy, and we hope that you have a great week. Thanks, everyone. SaaS Therapy is brought to you by Brainstorm, the SaaS platform for SaaS adoption. Learn more at brainstorminc.com.